ago, I bought a CD of Native American spiritual drumming music, and there was one song on that CD that when I heard it, I would just go somewhere. I don't know where, almost out-of-body experience and some altered state. And I fell in love with that song, so I'd play it over and over, especially if I was having a bad day or something was bothering me. I'd make time to listen to that song, and my attitude would change, and my day would brighten, and I'd walk a little lighter in the world. That song opened a door in my spiritual path, so I began to attend workshops about shamanism, some taught by Michael Harner, Sandra Ingerman, and others through the International Foundation of Shamanic Healing. I took drumming classes. Some of you may have remembered me doing that at the Women's Drum Center in St. Paul. So I started collecting percussion instruments and djembes and chimes and things like that. And I took some classes from Reverend Ron Moore on energy healing, and all that was really fascinating to me. Did a lot of reading on the subject too. So this is a topic that I've been interested in for a long, long time. How sound plays a role in our healing. And I know that many of you out there are healers and practitioners and instructors in some of these topics, so you probably know a lot more than I know, but I'm going to share with you anyway. My intention this morning is to open our minds to the possibility of using more sound in our spiritual practices. And I also want to offer a little bit of explanation about why we do some of the things that we do here on Sunday morning. So let's have some fun, let's experiment a little bit, and hopefully, as a bonus, find some healing in the words and sounds of this message this morning. Last week, I watched a French movie called The Intouchables. It was a story based on a true story about a French millionaire named Philippe, who was completely paralyzed in an accident. Now, he became very depressed and detached from life, and there's just a long string of turnover in caregivers. No one stayed in the position very long. And eventually he hired a young guy, kind of a street smart guy, to be his live-in caretaker. And one of Philippe's friends discovers that Driss, this new caregiver, has a criminal record and was just recently released from jail. But Philippe doesn't care. He keeps him on because Driss doesn't treat him with pity like so many other people do. It's a story about healing. Philippe isn't cured. He doesn't miraculously regain his body muscles or ability to move, but he does heal. There's laughter and joy that returns to his life, and this sense of trust develops between Philippe and Driss, and he builds other relationships and has some fun. And a big piece of the movie is about how each man introduces the other one to different music. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Driss accompanies Philippe to an opera. And of course, it's his first experience with opera, and he totally cracks up laughing. There's a man singing just full blast dressed as a tree. He thinks it's pretty funny, and he just can't help but laugh right along with him. So it's a movie that shows the power of music, the power of laughter to heal. And what is music and laughter but sound? Sound is energy, sound is vibration. Everything in the universe vibrates. And all things vibrate at their own frequencies, including us. I've been reading this book again. I think I've even talked about it here before. The Healing Power of Sound, Recovery from Life-Threatening Illnesses Using Sound, Voice, and Music, written by Mitchell L. Gaynor, MD. I bought this at Unity Village one time years ago. It's a story about this doctor and how he came to use sound along with standard medical practices. He works at Strang Cancer Prevention Center. He's the director of oncology and integrative medicine, and he values complementary modalities. He believes in using medical practices psychology, and spirituality to satisfy his patients' need to be treated like whole human beings. He describes illness and disease like we do here at Unity as a manifestation of imbalance or disharmony within the body. He believes in using singing bowls, that they offer a way to restore harmony within the body. In his book, Dr. Gaynor talks about using traditional cancer treatments with his patients, chemotherapy, radiation. He also practices listening and being present to their feelings. And in addition, he teaches them about the singing bowls and leads workshops and time when individually and in groups to experience the singing bowls. He says that in a few sessions with singing bowls, he has seen shifts occur that normally take 1 to 2 years with relaxation techniques. He says that chanting, bells, hand cymbals, gongs, drums, whistles, toning vowel sounds, and just listening to music all change the vibration in our bodies. He's seen significant healing results with his patients. He says that using sound techniques takes us beyond experiencing our physical pain and emotional suffering and puts us in touch with a reality greater than ourselves. He cites research showing that chanting can synchronize our brain waves to induce a state of relaxation. Sound is vibration. Vibration touches every part of our physical body. It's heard through our ears and through every cell of our body. Sound vibration causes us to vibrate with it. Sound deeply touches and transforms us on emotional and spiritual planes, and that carries over into our physical plane as well. And he says, something like Unity says, that the entire cosmos is an ocean of vibration. In Unity, we place a great emphasis on using positive words, on visualizing the life that we desire, seeing the good in all people and all situations. We use affirmations to change our thinking. When our thoughts change, our behaviors change, and our lives change for the better, right, Connie? Affirmations raise our thinking and feeling nature to a higher vibration. So we begin our Sunday service with a gathering prayer. Wasn't that beautiful with Elle this morning? And an opening affirmation every Sunday. That's to set the tone of why we're here, to come apart from our day-to-day lives and activities and make a space to start resonating with the divine mind. Even more powerful than the spoken word are affirmations that are sung. In the book Jesus Christ Heals, written by Charles Fillmore, he says, "You can drive away the gloom of disappointment by resolutely singing a sunshine song. Sunny." How did you know that? You too.
It happens this way.
We don't always call them sunshine songs. Isn't that funny?
Yes, love that.
I love that too. We call them joy songs in YOU, right? Joy songs. When our YOUers bless us with leading the Sunday service about once a year, they will sing joy songs with us. And they start their meetings with that every week. Things like, every little cell of my body's happy, every little cell of my body is well, you know that one. And usually there are physical movements that go with it. I think that's why we now have that applaud the day, right? We want to get some physical in our songs. Because of the importance of speaking affirmatively and living from the truth that we know in. We don't sing a whole lot of old hymns here anymore. We don't have hymnals. The language might cause us to picture some old form of God or have us remember some piece of theology that just doesn't ring true for us anymore. But we do have exceptions, like when Jerry Estrich is here singing gospel songs. There's a great energy that we can't deny when we have singers like that. So that's usually why we choose singers and musicians who play music and sing lyrics that empower us and line up with our unity thought. So we're so glad you're with us today, Patty and Jimmy. You rock. When we move into our quiet time in our service, the greeters turn the lights down. And you may have noticed before we read the daily word, we ring some little bells. These are called tingshas, 2 little bells tied to 1 string. They come from the Tibetan Buddhist spiritual tradition. The bells are shaped like tiny little cymbals, and each bell produces a slightly different tone. And I want to read you a paragraph from his book where he talks about these tingshas. Careful studies have shown that this tonal difference between each little bell causes the bell to emit extremely low frequency, sounds between 4 and 8 cycles per second. This is the range of the brain waves that occurs during meditation. The bells, therefore, entrain brain waves to these same frequencies. It is no wonder that tingshas have been used for centuries to initiate meditation. They signify the start of the practice, and they can actually help induce the state of profound relaxation that often accompanies meditation. Here they are, and there's like a right way to do this. You don't bang them together. We try to do it like this. Let me just go on. The deep undertones and the actual wavelengths we hear are in the range of theta waves, and theta waves are the ones that we find so relaxing. I started out telling you this morning about that native drumming song that I would listen to that altered my consciousness, and that's because shamanic drumming also produces a vibration in that theta wave frequency. Shamanism began 20 to 50,000 years ago, and it's found all over the world. And most shamans use that steady, repetitive beat of the drum to move into an altered state of consciousness. That wave range produced by drumming is like a carrier wave, and it produces a trance-like state. I've heard Dr. Harner talk about it, that drumming, repetitive drumming, like a canoe that you ride from one level of reality to another. And we would probably say it acts like a bridge from consciousness to the subconscious. I brought my gong this morning. Like a big drum, a large gong has deep undertones and overtones. You may be able to hear the harmonics more easily when I ring this gong. And we've got a mic behind it, so hopefully you'll carry. Just let yourself feel this. Turn on the mic. Did you feel that? Well, next in our Sunday service, we read the daily word. Beautiful, affirmative words that enter into our hearts and soothe our minds. And we know the power of words and the importance of our thoughts here. Give yourself affirmative messages and know that you're part of divine creation, worthy of love, worthy of health, worthy of abundance. We're vibrating here. And another quote again from Jesus Christ Heals, where Fillmore says, "The powers of the mind are developed in much the same way as the muscles of the body are. Persistent affirmation of a certain desire in the silence generates the mental energies and beats down all barriers." I After the bells and the daily word, we sing a meditation song. Bob Dylan once said, anything worth thinking about is worth singing about. Not good. There's a healing power in singing, chanting, and toning. I have a book about that too. Great book by Robert Gass, Discovering Spirit and Sound in Chanting. Singing by yourself is great, but also singing and toning and chanting with other people adds more harmonics, and it also plugs us into our ancestry. I love the daily word was about our elders today. We have a lifetime history of human beings gathering together, singing together, chanting together, worshiping together, and still in many faiths today, prayers are sung. So I haven't told Jimmy or Patty or John, the slide master, about this, so it's up to us what I'm going to do next. And I want to keep it simple. It's not about perfect pitch. It's about the experience of singing together, the vibration and the harmonics that we create together. We're going to sing a little song that we sang here, I don't know, a month ago. We've sang it a few times. It's simple, it's easy. The words are, God is real, God is magnificent, God is light, God is love. We repeat that, and then we sing, I am real, I am magnificent, I am light, I am love. And then you are, and then we are, and then back to God is. Will you do this with me? Notice your energy. Notice the energy in this room. Our vibration changed when we sang that song. Sweet and powerful and together. This morning, when I was brushing my teeth, it came to me about silent unity and World Day of Prayer this week. I wasn't going to talk about that, but I totally cut some stuff and I want to talk about it. And L talked about it already, but I want to talk about it some more. I keep thinking about Unity Village and that beautiful tower, that water tower. Was a functioning water tower that they've renovated. It's very tall and there are bells that ring from the top of that. When you're there taking classes, you hear that at noon and it resonates through the gardens and it's so beautiful. And now they've renovated the tower, fixed it up, and they've added like a health center in the tower. They're going to be teaching yoga classes and having retreats, energy, healing, lots of that going on right in the tower. And another beautiful piece is they built a 12 Powers garden all around the tower. So I'm anxious to go back to the village and see this new garden and beautiful space. And as I was brushing my teeth, I was thinking about how often I have talked and heard others talk about the power of prayer there. The tower is right next to the building where Silent Unity is. Silent Unity has been praying with people 24 hours a day for well over 100 years. There's definitely a prayer energy there. When I go in that building, I get shivers. So the prayer energy, but I was thinking this morning that it's the sound of prayer too, the vibration of the actual words, the people speaking there, that energy stays there as well. And I remembered hearing about the night shift that comes on, and 24 hours a day means that some of those prayer practitioners come in and stay while the rest of us are sleeping. They're answering calls. And their shift starts at 10 p.m. And so they get there a little early and they gather in one of the lower floors and they sing together. Like music of the spheres. I'd like to hear that sometime. I'm imagining that it's like what we just did. So anyway, next in our Sunday service, the prayer chaplains walk right through us ringing a crystal singing bowl. And that's what Dr. Gaynor prefers to use with his patients. It has a rich, pure, clear tone. And I do know that sometimes that singing bowl can have kind of a piercing sound. And we've gotten the feedback from those of you who have hearing aids that it can be kind of annoying, some reverberations. So if that's you, I apologize this morning because I'm planning to give the singing bowl another chance to ring. Singing bowls have been used for thousands of years, beginning with the Bon religion, which precedes Tibetan Buddhism. They use the bowls made from combinations of many kinds of metals, but we use a crystal bowl here, and ours is lovely. Most bowls that you see are the shape of a normal bowl, and they'd be sitting down on an O-ring on a table. But our bowl is handheld. It's pretty unique. And it was a gift to our center from Herb and Donnelly and Hope. I know you've heard that we humans are 70% water, but our bones and our blood and our DNA are made of crystalline structures, like the crystal bowl. So that's why a crystal bowl resonates and we vibrate right along with it. The molecules in our body respond whether we want them to or not. So the waves and vibrations from a singing bowl are conducive to releasing and letting go. When we were in meditation this morning, I asked you to visualize letting go. So I know you've done that already, but maybe you've got something else you can let go of now. So when I begin, I'd like you to imagine something that's been bothering you and just feel whatever discomfort that might be, and let the bowl do the work. Let it release this from you. So just sit with the sound and allow it to ring through you. And I'm going to play it a little differently than we normally do. I'm going to walk around And I think I'll take a minute or two to do this so you're getting the benefit of the sound. So go ahead and close your eyes. Never like putting it away. Even when you set it in its case, it's still vibrating. I don't know if you can hear that. I think it would go on and on. So, some of you may have felt some release or a shift of some kind. And you may have felt that resonating through your body as though you were in harmony with the symphony of the universe. Or maybe not. That's all okay. But I thank you for being willing to participate. Sometimes I teach a forgiveness workshop, and when I do, I talk about how healing and forgiveness has to occur on all levels: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. In order for us to truly heal and forgive, we have to address all that. And I'm realizing that I think that's true for all types of healing. Healing is a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual journey. It's all connected. Candace Pert, you may have heard of her. She's a research professor in physiology and biophysics at Georgetown University Medical Center. She wrote the book Molecules of Emotion. She says that human beings have more than a mind-body connection. She said it's much more accurate to call it mind-body unity. Now, other than Patty, you don't answer this. When's the last time you sang one of your favorite songs just from at the top of your lungs? I'm going to ask you to do that this week. Or Begin a simple chanting practice just by singing vowel sounds. Chant your name 3 times before you eat your breakfast cereal. Borrow someone's drum or singing bowl if you don't have one, and play it every day for a week. And just see where it takes you. Go ahead and try something new. The important thing is to choose music and sounds that work for you, and your inner wisdom will surely guide you in the right direction. In closing, I want to share Webster's definition for healing. Healing is to make healthy or whole, to return to a sound or healthy condition, to restore a wounded or sore part to soundness. Isn't that interesting? The word sound is used in the very definition for healing. I think we know this truth deeply in an ancient and intuitive level, that it is the sound